Hello, writers! I'm Josiane Fortin, and today I want to talk to you about the imposter syndrome. So, I don't know if you've heard about it, but the imposter syndrome is when you start doubting your skills and your talents and even your accomplishments, which makes you fear that people might call you out, they will uncover that you are not what you claim to be. And why I want to talk about this is because it can stop you on your way to become a self-published author. And I find that applying this tag to yourself, being an author or a writer, is one of those tags that's really hard to accept. Because myself, I had written my first novel, it was traditionally published, and even then, I did not consider myself as a writer because I thought an author is someone who writes and earns a living from what he or she writes. And that wasn't my case. I was just writing on the side. I just had written just one novel. And so it was really hard for me to call myself a writer. So when you suffer from imposter syndrome, you might fear that self-publishing a book because you think that people will say that you're not a real author, that you don't deserve to have a book on a shelf, that your grammar is not good enough, that you're not a storyteller that's worth being published. And so that imposter syndrome is really stopping you from achieving your dream of being a writer. And believe me, each time I hit the publish button on KDP or every time that I publish a podcast, I have this fear and I'm scared that people won't like my stories. First, that's one of the biggest fear that I have. And I also fear that people will give me 1-star reviews. That's like a nightmare to me. Not everyone is going to like your book or your prose or your style. So it's okay if you ever get like a couple of 1-star reviews. Like, of course, if all the reviews are 1-star, then that's another story. And I don't let that fear stop me though, because I have self-published 2 books this year. So will you let that fear stop you? If you feel like you're not an expert enough to write your nonfiction, think again. You always know more than someone else, and you only need to know a little bit more than the people you want to help. For example, if you think of an elementary school math teacher, he's an expert to 1 graders, but not to a postdoc math researcher, right? And even the postdoc gal doesn't know everything about everything, not even about math. So just keep that in mind. Like, to be an expert, you just need to know a little bit more than someone else. Think where you can add value and who you can help. So that applies more to nonfiction, but it can apply also to fiction where you feel like you don't master enough the topic that you want to talk about. Let's say you want your character to be a scientist, but you don't know enough about science. So if you have that imposter syndrome, you can do research and you can figure it out. If you're a perfectionist, that means you are scared of making a mistake. Perfection does not even exist. So why are you trying to achieve something that doesn't exist? You're just setting yourself up for failure. What is good prose to someone might bore others. There's just no way you can write something that every single person on this earth will appreciate. So don't fixate on errors and flaws, because you're only causing yourself anxiety and lowering your results. Because when you act out of fear, then you're not very being efficient, and this may cause procrastination. You must stumble your way to your dreams. It's not like a one-way street. Everything is paved, everything is going smoothly, and you just get there without experiencing any negative emotion, any setbacks, any technical setbacks like I'm experiencing this week. So 1 step at a time, even sideways, is what gets you where you want to go. To help you with this imposter syndrome as a writer, you can decide to think about the people who you are looking to help. So if you're in your mind right now and you reflect on what you want to write about, and you know that someone is desperately looking for an answer and you have that answer and you can write it in the book, why would you let that person down? Why would you let that person suffer just because you are scared? This could be helpful to think about that. Also, think about people are looking for useful information or much needed entertainment, and you're there for that. So you gotta get working. Think how much they need you to write what you want to share. And also stop comparing yourself. You can always find people who are ahead of you, and I say that with quotes, air quotes. And you can also always find people that are behind you on the road of being an author, but you need to focus on you. Don't compare yourself to other people. Take steps every single day. That's been really helpful for me. That's what I've been doing for the past year or so. And this has increased my productivity so much and my confidence too, because when you are working on a story and you add words every single day to your draft, you're still into the story. You remember what you wrote about for the past couple of days. But when you write a book over like a year or 2 years, 3 years, like you forget parts of what you've written, and then when you go over your draft, it's just a whole mess. You only believe in your ability once you start writing, so don't wait to believe before you start. So I hear that often, like I'm waiting to be confident to take action. No, that's not how it works. You got it backwards. To feel confident, you have to do stuff, and once you start doing stuff, you notice how able you learn stuff, and that's how you start to feel confident. Do to feel confident, not feel confident to do. And finally, I want to leave you with a couple of questions. I talked to you about my definition of what I thought an author was, like someone who's doing that full time and writing books every single day. And what is your definition of an author, of a writer? Do you consider yourself an author? Do you fit your definition? Is there a way you can change that definition? And why or why not? So think about that. And I hope that my information helped you cure somehow a little bit of your imposter syndrome. And I do want you to get working on your book. If you can, try to find a little bit of time every single day to write. And I hope this was helpful. If it was, if you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe and review and share with your friends. Thank you. Bye.